The man who federal officials say threw Molotov cocktails at marchers in Boulder, Colorado, now faces 16 counts of attempted murder. Tonight, we talk with local Jewish leaders about their security concerns in the wake of the attack.
A 12-year-old says he's lucky to be home after a scary situation in Eagle Mountain. I'm Fox 13 News reporter Mike Tligobi with his message to other kids.
Keeping those cooler temperatures around for now, but when does the summer heat make a comeback? I'll let you know.
Live from Utah's news leader, Fox 13 News at 9 starts right now.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Bob Evans. We're learning more about that attack in Colorado yesterday and examining the ripple effect it has left on Utah's Jewish community and beyond. That is our big story tonight. An FBI affidavit indicates the suspect, this man, Mohammed Solomon, confessed to his role in this crime and that he had been planning it for more than a year. Solomon is an Egyptian national whose visa expired in March. Officials believe he acted alone. Witnesses heard him yelling "Free Palestine" while using a makeshift flamethrower on a group of peaceful pro-Israeli demonstrators.
When he was interviewed about the attack, he said he wanted them all to die. He had no regrets, and he would go back and do it again.
Solomon is being held on a $10 million cash-only bond. He is expected to be back in court on Thursday for the filing of charges. Utah Lieutenant Governor Deidre Henderson reacted to the attack. She posted on X, quote, "I reiterate my support for our Jewish brothers and sisters here in Utah and around the world. The violent attack on peaceful demonstrators in Boulder is a shocking and painful reminder that hate and prejudice persist in our society. Utah stands in solidarity with the victims and the entire Boulder community during this horrific time. There is no place for such hatred in our state or our nation." Yesterday's attack was the third in a month on Jews in the United States. The governor's mansion in Pennsylvania was set on fire on the first night of Passover, with Jewish Governor Josh Shapiro and his family asleep inside. Then 2 Israeli embassy workers were killed in Washington at the Capitol Jewish Museum 12 days ago. And now this attack in Boulder. It has shaken Utah's Jewish community, with congregations looking at how to ensure their own safety. Fox 13 News reporter Jeremy Toms has that story.
The fiery attack that unfolded Sunday in Boulder, Colorado, has had a ripple effect throughout the Jewish community.
This person, who I will not name, planned it for a year.
An Egyptian national faces 16 counts of attempted murder after he threw Molotov cocktails at people marching for Israeli hostages.
Those are my absolute worst nightmares as a rabbi, because I see my community in each of those communities.
Rabbi Sam Spector came to Utah 7 years ago to lead Congregation Kol Ami in Mill Creek.
Kol Ami means all my people, and that's really what we try to embody. We have people from over 30 countries who are members of our synagogue, people who vote across the political spectrum.
Rabbi Spector said he simply wants to celebrate the diverse faith community that he leads, but amid these violent incidents, other thoughts have come to mind.
Why does this keep happening? When will this stop?
In 2018, Spector says security was an afterthought here.
Then the Pittsburgh shooting happened, and I asked our community, can you tell me how Salt Lake City is different than Pittsburgh?
In 2025, things look different. The Boulder attack happened on the eve of a Jewish holiday.
Today is the holiday of Shavuot, the holiday where the Jewish people receive the 10 Commandments. It's a holiday that makes us who we are as Jews.
And within Congregation Kol Ami,
we had programming until 11:30 at night, and we had security there for all of that. And that unfortunately comes at a large expense to our congregation.
While those are off-duty officers, Salt Lake City Police also say they want to do their part.
We're going to continue evolving as a police department. We're going to try to learn what we can from all the events that are happening around the country to help keep the community members in Salt Lake City safe.
While they understand congregants may be concerned, these Jewish leaders say they shouldn't hide their faith.
This is a time where we come together. We don't stop. We don't stop being Jewish. We don't stop having our Jewish events.
In Mill Creek, Jeremy Toms, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Salt Lake Police encourage you to keep your eyes open for any criminal activity and for members of the Jewish community to reach out to law enforcement if they're feeling unsafe for any reason. Right now, people in Lehigh are showing their support for a teen who was hit by a car in front of the Lehigh Rodeo grounds over the weekend. This is a live look at a candlelight vigil at Willow Creek Middle School. On Friday night, 14-year-old Jenna Sharp was hit by a car after attending an LDS multi-stake dance. She suffered a serious brain injury and remains in the ICU in critical condition. Her family released a statement to Fox 13 News saying, in part, quote, "We've been deeply moved by the outpouring of love and support from friends, family, and our community. Your kind messages, prayers, and care have meant more than we can express and are truly helping to carry us through." Southern Utah saw its fair share of stormy weather today. This is a live look at the wet roads. There were also thunderstorms in that part of the state too. Where is this, Breck? Moab. It's in Moab. Okay,
down Main Street
that's
there.
the MAB there on the right-hand side. Main Street in Moab. The rain is falling. It's been falling down in southern Utah for most of the day.
That has been the big focus here today for the active weather, and it does continue on, Bob, where, central southern Utah seeing the fair share of rain. Northern Utah, as the front moved in, a few isolated showers. All in all, it's been a dry day and cooler, which we needed to get a break from the heat. But again, as we saw this front make its move across central now into southern Utah, we continue to generate some showers, particularly across extreme southwestern Utah, as we're starting to see some of those showers dissipate. Still active weather, though. Speaking of Moab, Arches National Park and further east, thunderstorms making their move through Canyonlands and potentially having an impact in Monticello, Blanding as well, where turning towards northern and most of central Utah, things have improved. Again, here across northern Utah, we've had the sunshine. It's been a nice day, but most of the rain, as mentioned, falling across southern Utah and portions of central Utah as well. Here's a amount or kind of a roundup of what we've seen as far as totals, at least over the past 24 hours. Over ½ of an inch in Kanab, about ½ an inch at the St. George Airport. Moab, ¼ of an inch. Parowan, just shy of 2/10 of an inch. Highs today, again, significantly cooler here across northern Utah, but closer to where we should be on average. We should be near 80 degrees. We got up to 81 today in Salt Lake City, 83 in Provo, 80s and 70s through central Utah. Looks like today's high in Moab, 83 degrees, where we've got 70s currently here across northern Utah. A little bit cooler across the south as we do still have the rain and, of course, the clouds in place. Overnight, though, here in Salt Lake City, we'll get down to the mid-50s. Mostly clear conditions. We'll start the day off with some sunshine. Again, looking at those temperatures, do we kind of stay average or do we bump back up like we saw over the weekend? We'll talk about that coming up in just a bit.
All right, Breck, thank you. It has been a little more than a week since a boy almost drowned in Eagle Mountain. Fox 13 News reporter Maithili Gubi has been following Jason Thorpe's story and has a special update to share.
Love you, Jason. We will pray for you.
From notes on the door,
I hope you will be able to play with me.
posters on the garage, and signs in the yard.
You don't realize how much someone is thought of and loved and how much you're thought of and loved until you see some of this.
Jason Thorpe is 12 years old and loved by so many people.
Thank all of you. You're all kind of like family to me, and it makes me feel like I feel blessed to have all you guys.
These messages of love and hope from friends, family, classmates, and teachers came at a tough time for the Thorpe family.
For my little Superman, he's home. He fought, and he's here, and will continue to fight.
On May 23rd, Jason was in a hot tub in Eagle Mountain. He and his friends were seeing who could hold their breath the longest underwater. That's when Jason lost consciousness. A parent who is also a nurse pulled Jason out of the water and gave him CPR.
I just want to say thank you for saving my life.
He came home on Monday, a couple hours before I got to speak with him.
We count ourselves very lucky. The fact that he's, as you probably saw, he's walking, talking, still recuperating a little bit, but for the most part doing fantastically well.
Jason hopes more kids can learn from his story.
Don't try to hold your breath. Like, don't do challenges. It's not smart. But also, several people lose their lives whenever they do that. And I'm just one of the lucky ones.
With lots of gratitude to the ones that stood by them and seeing Jason back home.
It's been fun to see his playfulness come back, and so that itself has been, it's been just a warm relief to know that my son is going to be who he is, and that there's a lot for him still left to do and a lot of lives for him to touch.
Now, Jason is still recovering. He is still short of breath and has some more rehab to do, but his family is just so happy to have him home, and he's glad to be back and giving hugs to everyone he loves. In Orem, I am Maithili Gubi, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Way to go, Jason. Getting better. Well, after nearly 6 weeks, a missing 15-year-old South Jordan girl has been found safe. Fox 13 News is no longer naming or showing the picture of this girl out of respect for her privacy, but the search for her spread to Texas and Florida after police found the girl had been in contact with men in those states over social media. Then last night, she walked into the Colorado Springs Police Department and identified herself as the missing girl. Because of the number of agencies involved, one expert says the case could fall under federal jurisdiction.
My guess is the FBI will probably take over this case, and working with those state, local partners, and they're already, I can assure you, they're already on the ground in Colorado trying to figure out who she was with.
Matthew Menard of Miami, Florida, appeared in court for the first time today in connection with this case. His charges include enticing and exploitation of a minor. The girl's family shared a statement with Fox 13 News today, thanking police, the FBI, and everyone who shared their story and prayed for them. Coming up, hundreds of students and employees are scrambling to figure out what's next after the Labor Department announced a nationwide pause to Job Corps operations last week.
I'm Chris Reed in St. George, where I want to introduce you to a living legend, and he's inside that supermarket right there. I'll show you coming up.
You're watching Fox 13 News, part of the Scripps News Group.
Hello, Gary. Anyone who goes to the Smith's Market on Bluff in St. George knows Gary Sailing, the kind 80-year-old bagger. Something people may not realize is Gary once bagged groceries for Betty Davis. I'm Fox 13 Southern Utah News reporter Chris Reed. These days, Gary is bagging for the love of his life, and the St. George community is starting to take notice. Gary first worked as a grocery bagger back in high school in California. He never expected to pick it up again at this age. His life's work was in architecture.
Now, was she pretty or what?
And his love was his wife, Carol. They met at a stoplight back in 1991.
The exact instant we both raised our sunglasses at the same moment.
Turned out they had been going to the same store to pick up coffee for decades. And when the wife of the store's owner found out,
she comes around the corner and she's crying. And she goes, "Gary, are you telling me you finally ran into Carol?" We fell in love with each other on the bench because we ended up sitting there for 3 hours.
That love lasted right through January 2017 when Carol, an artist, was diagnosed with Sundowner syndrome, a form of dementia. They moved to be near a neurologist in southern Utah.
The neurology was covered by Medicare. What wasn't covered was the promise that I kept, that I would keep her at home.
Carol died in 2021, but Gary's love for her lives on. Unfortunately, so do the medical bills. Gary still owes $80,000.
I saw Gary bagging groceries and I thought, what's this guy? Why is this elderly man still here?
Duana Johnson runs a small ministry in town. She organized the Gary Sailing donation account at the State Bank of Southern Utah that people can donate to. There's also a Venmo account.
So we started a fundraiser and people have been messaging saying that they see him all the time and they really love him. He's always nice, he's always kind, he's always like, you know, greeting them and smiling.
There is no way I'm a hero. I am not an angel, and I'm certainly not a saint. I made the promise to keep her at home and never put her in a nursing home because I took vows.
From St. George, Chris Reed, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Help Gary retire. At Help Gary Retire. That's the Venmo account that you can go to. We've got it on the website too.
Oh, good. Let's expand this community to rally around him for sure.
What a remarkable man. Promised his wife he would never put her in a
keeping that promise to the end.
Yeah.
Wow.
Looks like you got the Manti LDS Temple over your shoulder.
I do,
there,
yeah. This photo coming up on our Facebook page. Yeah, Manti stormy skies here throughout the afternoon. This was a similar scene through both central and southern Utah. Northern Utah, the front moved through the overnight hours, producing a few isolated showers, but mainly we've just been seeing a big temperature drop here across northern Utah, of course, coming off those record temperatures yesterday, where the high officially in Salt Lake City today at 81 degrees, close to where we should be for this time of year. Again, slightly above average. Now, looking at the record at 95 degrees, of course, yesterday we broke that record that was set back yesterday at 94. We got up to 96. As we're going to be looking at temperatures to once again cool off even more so come tomorrow. Right now in Logan, you're at 58 degrees, mid-70s in Salt Lake City. A beautiful sunset once again here along the Wasatch Front. We're still hanging on to some clouds and a few areas of some showers, even some thunderstorms across southern Utah. As mentioned, tomorrow it will be cooler. Looking at the forecast high of 74 degrees, below average. Enjoying mid-70s right here for the first week of June. Definitely will take that, especially after that summer little heat wave to start the month off. Now, looking ahead, we had the rain through central and southern Utah, still keeping chances of showers going across southern Utah a little bit tomorrow, but we really get it going once again on Wednesday, but we'll keep it confined to southern Utah here over the next couple of days. The rest of the state looks to be dry. As for tomorrow, from the Storm Prediction Center for southern Utah, chances of isolated showers, less of a threat that we saw today, but still with that chance and a possibility as we look at some of those flooding or flash flood prone areas here at some of the national parks. It is a possibility for tomorrow. Now let's take a look, as I mentioned, still hanging on to some rain showers southwestern Utah, as we're also looking at some thunderstorms still making their move through Arches National Park, Canyonlands as well. That will move further southward, potentially impacting areas such as Monticello, Blanding in addition. But again, central Utah, you've got the clouds. Northern Utah, no clouds. Front moving towards the south and then eastward. Again, we brought the combination of the moisture from this low pressure system and the cool front that generated the active weather across southern Utah. We have one more system that needs to track through. Most of the energy of that storm stays in Arizona, but it does pump some moisture in here across southern Utah, especially as we go into Wednesday. Tuesday, though, as we start off the morning, it will be clear across the state. Again, some clouds across southern Utah, a few isolated showers, not a big impact. Wednesday, a different story. That low pressure system moving in. We'll see that circulation of moisture. And again, the heating of the day will keep that active weather going at least for one more day. But by Thursday, big improvements expected across the state as high pressure starts to build back in. Now, overnight lows down into the 50s for many spots, 60s though in St. George. Tomorrow, again, isolated showers across southern Utah. The rest of the state enjoy mostly sunny skies. 70s for highs, and through central Utah it'll be mid to upper 70s. For St. George though, you're back into the 90s. Chances of showers Wednesday, slight chance on Thursday, clearing out, sunshine and triple digits. Return to the forecast by Sunday and Monday. Northern Utah, how about 74 to 78 to 80s? There's the temperature warm up. Slight chance of an isolated shower on Friday. Nice for the weekend, but getting toasty. We're back into the 90s Sunday and Monday. So that summer heat makes a return, but enjoying 70s here for the next couple of days.
Gonna have to mow the lawn again on Saturday. High school students in Davis County putting their mountain biking skills to the test tonight. We'll take you to their team time trials. The school year may be over, but one high school sport is just kicking off. Tonight, Davis High School held their mountain bike time trials to place the groups for the summer. Fox 13 News photojournalist Julian Conrads takes us to Fruit Heights for the action.
Come on, Danny. Like
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
This is the time trial. This is where they put us into categories.
They ride the same course, we get a time, and that helps us organize them into categories.
We're at Fruit Loops in Fruit Heights, Utah.
To the rock! Yeah, to the rock!
I felt great, and I based off my time, it was pretty good in my mind. I'm hoping I get up there. It's really exciting being able to get around and throughout Utah, and just being able to, tell my friends that, hey, I'm on the mountain bike team.
It helps your kids be active. It helps them learn about the community, trails, littering, garbage, other trail users like horses and runners. The fitness that kids gain is absolutely amazing. It's actually the biggest high school sport. It's just nobody knows about it. Okay. So it's bigger than football, baseball, basketball. 7,400 kids in the state of Utah. They can get scholarships for college.
6, 58, 10.
I think so.
Nice job. Popsicles in the cooler if you guys want them. Okay?
What you find is it becomes a lifelong sport. They love it. Their families love it. They teach their siblings to love it.
7-10. I would want to thank all the coaches and head coaches just with the Davis mountain bike team. It's just been an awesome experience and kept me healthy throughout these years.
One of the most maligned crops in Utah is now being grown in a new way. I'll show you this bold new experiment coming up next.
Rob Gibb is about to do something really big on his farmland.
It is a big change.
It could be a game changer for agriculture and water resources across Utah.
This is super unique.
I'm Ben Winslow in Howell, and I'm standing on an alfalfa farm. But what makes this farm unique is how it's being grown.
Maybe we can start here. Or,
yeah, sure.
Gibb has installed a subsurface drip irrigation system on his farm.
There's main lines all the way across the field that are all pressurized and ready to access.
He's got a pump and filtration system and solar panels to power it. Subsurface drip is considered one of the most efficient ways to grow plants.
30% is what everybody's telling me, 30% less water.
What makes this unique is the scale he's doing it at. Gibb is running subsurface drip lines under 100 acres of land.
I've heard positive things, and I thought, this would be ideal here. I would cut my manpower down and be able to get water across the field effectively. Use less water.
Alfalfa is derided in Utah's ongoing drought and the crises facing the Great Salt Lake and Colorado River. It's a water-intensive crop, and agriculture is the state's top water user.
It makes for a good narrative to look at, well, where is all that water going and how do we cut back on that? And unfortunately, we tend to go to those easy solutions like, oh, we'll just stop growing that crop. Well, that's a very complicated and not a great solution for a lot of reasons. There's a reason that alfalfa is grown in the desert. It grows better here, and it grows great throughout the American Southwest.
So Gibb got money from the state, the federal government, and even Coca-Cola to help install the system built by the Israeli irrigation company Netafim.
It's one of the first in the state of Utah.
Gibb's experiment has the attention of researchers and the state.
The subsurface drip projects that we have done in the past have been much smaller.
But it's not cheap. Farmers like Gibb invest hundreds of thousands of dollars to switch to these newer water-saving technologies. Utah has spent millions of dollars in matching grants.
It's a win-win for our ag producers as well as the stressed water resources that we have here in the state.
Hannah Fries, who manages Utah's agriculture optimization program, says it's showing signs of success. Hundreds of farmers have signed up.
We've reduced our water use by about 37,000 acre feet. Now getting that 37,000 acre feet to the lake is a whole different scenario.
It's still unclear if the water saved is actually making it to places like the Great Salt Lake. Data is still being compiled.
We also have other downstream users that are now seeing the benefits of our more efficient agriculture irrigation systems
they're entitled to use that water as well. And so that will just be our next level of conservation, right? We're focusing here and then we can move down the line. And so it's going to be a process.
So this is a pretty exciting experiment. We should know by next spring how it's working out.
We can still get along with the Great Salt Lake and grow our crop and show them that we're improving ourselves and our water usage.
In Howell, Ben Winslow, Fox 13 News, Utah.
A judge will decide the fate of Utah's law banning transgender girls from playing sports that match their gender identity. At issue is an executive order by President Trump enacting a nationwide ban. Utah's ban has been blocked for some time. Now, lawyers for some transgender children want the Utah High School Activities Association held in contempt of court, alleging they're defying the judge's injunction. The association, which oversees high school sports, says they're following the president's order. They also asked the judge to throw out the lawsuit entirely. The judge did not issue a ruling right away, but says he'll decide soon. Governor Spencer Cox is acknowledging LGBTQ Pride Month, but not with a proclamation like in years past. The governor made a social media post at the start of Pride Month calling for bridge building and understanding, but his office confirms he is not issuing a Pride Month proclamation. Governor Cox has been one of the only Republican governors in the nation to formally acknowledge LGBTQ Pride Month, but he's also faced pushback over signing bills into law that take aim at the community, particularly transgender people. As Mormon cricket infestations hit parts of Utah, the state is offering resources to help eradicate them. The bugs have inundated some rural areas right now, damaging vegetation and impacting forage for livestock and wildlife. It also hits farmers in the wallet. The Utah Department of Agriculture and Food is offering cost sharing for pesticides. To qualify, you need to own a minimum of 10 acres of impacted land. The agency is also supplying grasshopper bait for smaller properties. Many students face uncertainty as the closure of Job Corps campus in Clearfield is coming. The Labor Department announced a nationwide pause to operations last week. Several students we spoke to have been relying on the program in Clearfield to learn important skills to improve their lives. Some are just months from completing their program.
Right now I'm kind of lost and confused. There's a lot of people on campus that just don't have anywhere to go. They'll be going to homeless shelters, or they'll be going back to toxic families and toxic relationships.
The pause on the Job Corps program is set to begin June 30th.
A 14,000-mile bike ride. Coming up, hear about one 17-year-old's journey from behind his handlebars.
And as you journey through southeastern Utah, once again, take a look at UDOT traffic. Near Moab, damp roads, but the rain moving away. But how long do we keep the rain away? I'll let you know coming up after the break.
If you got on a plane from Morocco to Singapore, there you go, it would take you more than 16 hours. Now imagine making that journey through 16 countries on 2 wheels. Sounds impossible, right? Well, there's one Utah teen who's looking to prove people who doubt him wrong.
A 14,000-mile bike ride. I'm Fox 13 News reporter Julia Sandor in Kaysville, where 17-year-old Haken Anderson is getting ready to do just that and travel on bike from Morocco all the way to Singapore.
So I went down to Salt Lake around to Morgan Valley.
In the Anderson household, summer vacation is just getting started.
I guess we're just trying to hold on to the last little bit of, I don't want to make you cry.
No, you're not.
The last little bit of childhood we have left with him, you know.
Their son Haken
This was like my first real road race in Illinois.
is about to embark on a unique route after graduating from Davis High School.
My name is Haken. I'm 17 years old, and in less than 4 weeks, I'm going to attempt to become the youngest person to ever bike solo from Morocco to Singapore.
He'll be biking more than 14,000 miles over the span of about 5 months.
I had a free summer and I was like, I might as well. I have the time. This is the stage in my life where I really can do something like this.
He's hoping to go about 100 miles a day, barring any complications, of course.
I've hit my chin twice. Lots of road rash. There was another time I was sprinting at about 30 miles an hour at dusk, which I should not have been doing, and a deer popped out. I didn't hit the deer, but I laid down the bike, broke my collarbone. There you go.
Haken funded this all on his own, working odd jobs leading up to the big trip.
I would be scared. I would never do it myself, but we've always said we don't want to not have our kids do things because we're scared. And so he is going to do it because he wants to, and we'll support him.
His 2 wheels won't just bring him through 26 countries. He says they'll help introduce him to new opportunities.
I think one of the most insightful things that my journey is going to expose is just how friendly people are around the world. There's good people everywhere.
What others call crazy, Haken calls a new adventure.
Yeah, I think everyone thinks I'm crazy, but that makes me want to do it more, to be honest.
In Kaysville, Julia Sandor, Fox 13 News, Utah.
If everything goes as planned, Haken will make it to Singapore by October. We wish him safe travels and few, if any, flat tires on this epic journey.
It's the city's first museum and a real passion project for so many volunteers who made this happen. I'm Amy Nay in Gunnison, and I'll bring you more on the Pioneer Cabin you see behind me and why it's so important.
The Utah Jazz have added another Ainge to the front office. Which one will be making the final decision on roster moves? And 2 Utah natives survived golf's longest day. They qualified for the U.S. Open. I'll tell you who they are coming up in sports.
And
Be it ever so humble. That's how one historian described the Pioneer Cabin over my shoulder here in the city park, built here in the Gunnison Valley by pioneer settlers back in 1891. Hello, I'm Fox 13 News anchor Amy Nay in Gunnison, where they just dedicated their first museum, preserving the past for future generations.
How we can remember our past and still stay connected with it.
Denise Ranson-Croft brought her grandmother's bicentennial flag from Monday's dedication.
She's a literal daughter of Utah pioneers, so that's why I thought it'd be neat to bring that in and another way to keep connecting to the past.
Loaning a number of other historic family heirlooms to the cause.
It's nothing I love more than Gunnison, Utah, and historical preservation.
Saving a place like this helps bring generations together, gives a community identity and purpose.
Preservation specialist Kirk Huffaker.
In a small town especially, you have these landmarks, these places that tell stories. We don't want to lose that special character of the places that have meaning to us.
Far away in the west.
John August and Ida Marie, and this is them. This is their 3 children.
Karen Donaldson is captain of the Gunnison camp for the Daughters of the Utah Pioneers.
Do not have your own bedroom, for starters, and then the kids probably had to play outside most of the time.
Sharing the history of the Johnson cabin that was built by Swedish immigrants who came to America by sea and then to Utah by covered wagons, settling in Sanpete County and building this cabin in 1891 on a farm here in the Gunnison Valley.
We need to not tear down everything that's old, because we learn from it.
Claudia Sanborn was the driving force behind it.
Light went on and I thought, I have got to make this little cabin into a museum.
Working with the city and the state DUP to make it official, hoping everyone who comes by will stop and enjoy it.
Well, even while we've been fixing on it, I've had people come, pull over on the highway because it's a real visible place.
And if you'd like to take a tour, they say they have volunteer tour guides ready to go. All you have to do is give them a call at the Gunnison camp of the Daughters of the Utah Pioneers. They're going to post a phone number on the door, or you can just look them up online, and they'll be open for the 4th of July. Reporting in Gunnison, Amy Nay, Fox 13 News, Utah.
You know, when I think of the pioneers on days like today and over the weekend, I think they didn't have any air conditioning.
No, they did not.
And oh man, you ever have no air conditioning in your house, Brett?
Sometimes it has broken down there,
Yeah,
but not
well,
this past weekend, thank goodness.
One of our units is broken down right now, and I'm telling you, it is no fun at all. We're looking to get it
thank goodness
fixed
we're
right
at the
away.
beginning of June, so the overnight temperature is cool enough that you can
Thank
open up
goodness.
your windows and cool off, but that won't be the case, we know, as we move towards the end of June, getting into July. But ending the day a little bit on a cooler note in comparison to yesterday, because we did have a cool front move through the state, dropping temperatures. Where highs today near 80 degrees versus yesterday we were in the mid-90s here along the Wasatch Front. Currently, though, we stand at 75 degrees, a few high clouds around. All in all, it's going to be another dry night, as we'll be waking up come tomorrow with a lot of sunshine, at least across northern Utah. All right, let's talk about looking ahead. Now we're in June. As we take a look at the history books, the chances of rain in June. Now, we got some rain across central and southern Utah, but as we look at each and every day, it's about a 20% to a 25% chance here for the first couple of weeks. We move to the second half of June, especially that last week. That's the driest week of the year. And as we look as we go from the 27th through the 28th, it's only the 7% chance of seeing some rain showers. So these are dry times here, again, of that second half of June. Now, I want to show you something looking up from the Climate Prediction Center. A little bit long range, second half of June. Temperature-wise across the state, it is going to be sizzling. Yeah, heat coming back. We'll start to see that this weekend, and really towards the end of the month, boy, it's going to be a toasty June, and hopefully we don't break any more records, but definitely looking at temperatures well above averages. This is going to be the situation here. Now, we've been getting the rain mainly across central and southern Utah. As we look, though, as we see the potential for, once again, thunderstorms in effect for tomorrow. Better threat, though, on Wednesday as we go for the next couple of days. The excessive rain outlook, again, will be mainly confined to southern Utah. As a reminder, with those isolated thunderstorms, there's still a possibility of seeing some flash flooding. We didn't have any flash flood warnings in effect. We had a little bit of flooding, though, in St. George as we're seeing those showers towards the west end of Washington County, but moving away, as we'll see some improvement with the showers here over the next 12 hours or so as this front moves on. But then we've got another system that's going to be brushing by southern Utah that will allow more moisture to come in effect as we head into Wednesday. We'll keep those showers going in, and then high pressure building in. This is what we'll see, those summer temperatures returning, especially as we head into the weekend. But here for tonight, mostly clear here across northern Utah, mid-50s for overnight lows. So definitely, yeah, if you want to open up your window to welcome in that cool air, you'll probably need to bring an extra blanket, though, with these cooler temperatures here, where for tomorrow, temperatures look to be below average, only in the mid-70s, but we've got the sunshine here all along the Wasatch Front. But again, as we move towards extreme southern Utah, we'll have some clouds and a few isolated showers. Temperatures on the rise, at least in St. George. We're going to be in the low 90s, most other spots in the mid to upper 70s, and some locations in the 80s. Don't need to look at that again. Let's take a look at your 7-day forecast. 93 on Tuesday, and then we see a better chance of some rain showers and scattered thunderstorms. Slight chance on Thursday, then it's dry and sunny and warming up into the triple digits Sunday through Monday. Northern Utah, the only bump in the road is a slight chance of an isolated shower on Friday. All in all, staying dry. We get back into the 90s heading into the weekend.
The Utah Jazz have a new person in charge of basketball operations. Austin Ainge, the former BYU player and son of Jazz CEO Danny Ainge, is now making the big decisions for the Jazz moving forward after working 17 seasons with the Boston Celtics. Here's Fox 13's Andrea Urban.
Today's a great day for Utah Jazz basketball.
The Utah Jazz announced the hiring of Austin Ainge as the franchise's next president of basketball operations. Austin has been in the front office with the Celtics, but he's a former BYU Cougar and the son of Danny Ainge, who has been in Utah's front office since 2021. And Austin says that this is a dream role, especially being back in the Beehive State.
I mean, I've worked for a lot of years to have the opportunity to lead a team, right? This is kind of was the next evolution for me in my career. You know, in the basketball business, we always say ownership is the most important advantage. Be able to do this in Utah with Ryan and Ashley is very much a dream.
For us, Austin will be running the program. He's got final recommendation to myself on any decisions that need to be made. I think it's the job of both Justin, Danny, and myself to kind of plug into him, particularly on roster management. I think it couldn't have come at a better time for where we're at as an organization.
I plan on including DA, Justin, Will, and lots of people here, everyone. Like this is a team sport, both downstairs and upstairs. We're gonna have millions of conversations and argue and fight and research and work and watch and then get in a room and figure it out.
If I look at Will and his contract extension, I look at where Austin's coming in, continuity is really, really important to me. And I think the one thing that Jazz fans can take away from this is we're sitting in a really good spot up top. We've got to go match that on the court.
With the Utah Jazz, Andrea Urban, Fox 13 Sports, Utah.
2 former Utah State amateur champions have qualified for the U.S. Open. Zach Blair was in a 4-player, 1-spot playoff in Springfield, Ohio on the 4th playoff hole. Knocks it in there stiff. He made the birdie putt to win the playoff, qualifying for his 4th U.S. Open. And Preston Summerhays was the medalist at Valencia Country Club in California, qualifying for his 2nd U.S. Open, joining another state champion, Tony Finau, next week. Former Utah star player Eric Weddle has been named to the 2026 ballot for induction into the College Football Hall of Fame. Weddle was a 2-time Mountain West Defensive Player of the Year and a consensus All-American, making big play for the Utes on offense and, like here, on offense there and also on defense. Well deserving. I think he had a nice 14-year career in the National Football
in the NFL, yeah. And my oldest son was good friends with him and his wife, just lived up the hill in San Diego.
Yeah, and I think now he's coaching the Suns, big time.
Isn't that great?
Getting a couple more Weddles to the U and then the NFL, and we'll be just fine.
Okay, very good. Well, we'll be right back. Hey, guess what? The Budweiser Clydesdales are going to be galloping in Utah this week, celebrating 15 years of partnership with Folds of Honor, a nonprofit organization providing families of fallen or disabled U.S. service members and first responders with education scholarships. The Clydesdales will be at Lagoon tomorrow. They'll also be in downtown Salt Lake on Friday and at the Bees game on Saturday.
They're getting around.
They are beautiful animals and so well trained too.
Right. Superstars,
handing out education scholarships. Well, thanks for being part of Fox 13 News at 9. Quickcast is coming up next.